Hello, hello. Good morning. Happy Sunday to all of you. Today we will be discussing sex toys, but I'm actually going to be inviting a design student and an aspiring sex educator who's come up with these really fun cards to learn all about sex toys and pleasure. So I'm just going to quickly add them. Their name is Shirin. And like I said, they're a design student and they're an aspiring sex educator, and they're also like a queer person and just like a very sweet, warm, young person trying to spread awareness about a topic that is so important. So I'm just gonna try and add them. There you go. I've sent. Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. I'm good too. Thank you so much for coming online on a Sunday morning and talking to us about such an interesting topic.
Of course, I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, and I'm so excited that I finally got my own set of cards from the House of Pleasure, and I've been super excited to play with them, go through them, and okay, we'll tell our audience all about it. But before we get into it, Shirin, if you could tell us a little bit about why you came up with this idea and like what is the story behind it?
So it actually started off as a college assignment where we had to choose three topics where
Oh my,
we had
yeah, I made like some art paper and one journal for college, and you made this incredible set of cards. What is this?
so I decided to either go with sexualities, with types of beers made in India, or sex toys. And
Interesting.
I
So these
I
are
was
topics of interest for you.
it's just like beers and sex.
Love it, love it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I decided I was pretty set on sex toys because sexuality is something that I knew other people would choose, and it's something that's being explored in a lot of different ways. But sex toys is something that's just not explored at all. So I decided to go with sex toys. And when we had like a small voting thing happening
Question.
in
So I have a follow-up question. Why do you think that is? Why do you think sex toys is something that is still such a taboo topic in our country?
I mean, according to our law, we're technically not allowed to use sex toys. Like, even our law has made it such a taboo topic. So it's just, I mean, right now, even self pleasure and like just discovering yourself through masturbation is such a taboo topic. Like, Indian households are just not okay with it. They don't encourage it. They don't let you safely look
Hmm.
after your body and find out about your own body. So the concept of sex toys even coming in is just completely third party. It's just not something that's accepted anywhere. And the only place where you see the use of sex toys really is in porn. And
Hmm.
right, porn, it just teaches us in a really bad way how unless you're watching like legit porn, maybe through Lust Cinema or something like that. But if you're watching through Pornhub, they're not really teaching you the right stuff.
Mm, mm. And like the only other place that I've actually seen sex toys in Bombay, which is where I'm from, is right opposite the High Court. Like, of course, this is before the pandemic. There was this whole lane where it had a bunch of like massagers shaped like dildos.
Yeah,
That's the only other place that I saw sex toys. And of course, now you have like a bunch of cool Indian websites selling sex toys
yeah,
as well. Um,
absolutely.
apart from that, yeah, like, and I think what I really love about your cards is also how you, and we'll get into that a bit more when we talk about your cards, but you also talk about not just sex toys that you can buy, but also sex toys that you can home make, right? Like,
Yeah, like I have eye
yeah,
candles, stuff
yeah,
like that. Because but it was so important that you shouldn't have to just go out there and have to purchase an expensive thing, because again, sex toys, because they're not the cheapest option, right?
hmm,
So like that's why I thought of having something that's a little bit more, you can find at home. So something as simple as ice can help you just explore yourself and discover
hmm.
your body so much
Wait,
more.
show our audience what the cool card looks like. So there's a card, and then there is a description at the back as to how it can be used. And look at the design, like look at the amount of effort that has gone. Can you see the body that is? Yeah. I'll maybe post better pictures later on, but they look incredible, and like so much detailing and so much work and love and care has gone into these cards, and it's very evident.
Thank you. It's this assignment started in December, and I finally completed it like towards the end of February. Like it took me a very long time because the amount of research that went into it was like I knew about the basic toys, like I knew about the existence of toys, but I was just like, the more I researched, the more I found, and I was just like, there's just 20, like I can only include 20, but there's so many more. I want to include all of them. So I had to shortlist which ones to include and all of that, and I wanted to make it as gender inclusive as possible. So I didn't want to just include like something as simple as like a vibrator, which mostly is advertised towards women. I also wanted to include other toys which were advertised towards men, and any like every gender possible basically.
Yeah, yeah. And I was going to ask you that, Shirin, sorry, I get your name wrong all the time. And as someone whose name is gotten wrong all the time, I shouldn't be doing that. Shirin, also, I mean, this was a conversation that we had previously as to how, because you identify as a queer person, it was very important for you to ensure that it wasn't a very cishet normative
Yes.
set of cards either. You've used gender neutral pronouns everywhere. You've made sure to not make it gendered, like you said, right? Why was
Yeah.
that so important for you? I mean, it's obvious why it was important for you, but like, was that a bit difficult as well to come to kind of put together?
I mean, I think it's someone who's already very conscious as to how I refer to people. Like, I'll always make sure that I refer to them as they, them before I come to know what their pronouns are, just to, ensure that I'm not making a
Right.
mistake identifying something. So it was, I mean, I took a lot of information, and most of the information I took was completely gendered. So I changed it up, I rewrote it. And it wasn't the hardest thing because it's something that I already identify with.
Yes. And it's really that simple, right? To make things gender neutral, to make things inclusive. It actually does not take all that much effort. And if somebody is finding it difficult to do by themselves, there are other experts, there are other people available who'll happily help you with something like that, right? And you can enlist the service of someone and pay them a small fee.
Yeah.
The very fascinating thing about these cards is also how they're stackable. There are grooves, so you can sort of play with them and you can make a little house with them. Why did you do that? So essentially something like this, right? You can put them together like this, and
Yeah.
why did you do that?
So this is completely like, it started off as an assignment. So this was like, it's called House of Cards. It's like an existing concept,
Huh.
and it's got this thing where you make grooves, and basically the point of these cards is you can view them from any direction.
Hmm.
So that's the idea behind them, and that's
Yeah.
and it is so initially when I was gonna sell them, I thought of just selling them as basic cards, but then I was just like, you know what, the grooves actually add a dimension to them, because at the end of the day, sex toys is all about putting things in and out and stuff like that. So grooves really adds a dimension to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I mean, what are sex toys, right? They're just things that you use to play in a sexual context. And that's so fun. Like all of us love toys growing up, whatever like our toy of preference was. And we can
Yeah.
bring in that same kind of like curiosity and childlikeness, even within sexual context, and like get in touch with that part of ourselves. And I think your cards not just like educate people to do that, but they also put people in that space where they're operating from that space of like curiosity and just wonder. And I think that's what makes them so cool. Can you tell me what your favorite card of the lot is? I know that's a very difficult, but
It is a very difficult question, but I'm gonna go through them and I'm gonna like figure this
yeah,
out. I realize I never actually
my
thought of it.
favorite one while you do that. Okay, let's both
To
pick up.
to be honest, my favorite one has to be the blindfold card, solely because how difficult it was for me to illustrate it.
You said, please show us the blindfold card and tell us a little bit about it. I actually
Uh,
have it. I can show. Wait, I had my favorite ones at the back actually. Here, I found the blindfold card. Here you go.
Here's it. So it was super hard to illustrate because I needed to get that lace pattern right and all. So, but I really like this one. Like, I don't know why. It just like it's solely because of how hard it was to illustrate, but it's come out so beautifully that I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the blindfold is also such a, I mean, it's one of the easiest ways to kind of get started on this journey to use sex toys as well.
Absolutely.
Not comfortable to bring in a partner into that equation yet, you can kind of just put blindfold on yourself while engaging in self pleasure, and that can really enhance the experience for you. And it can be a different kind of experience, if not enhanced experience, right?
Yes.
My favorite one has to be the rope because
Ooh,
beautifully you've designed it, and I love the contrast on the black at the back. And really, I think this is again one another sex toy that is not given as much importance as it deserves, and it's one of the underdogs. I feel like you've also managed to cover the underdogs of the sex toy universe. So I feel like with the even with the rope, it's such an easy sex toy to start incorporating into your practice. If you're comfortable with your partner to get tied up, it doesn't have to be your entire body. It could just be your wrists. It could just be your ankles, and that could be a space to start out. And of course, like with any kind of sexual interaction with another person or with yourself, a lot of conversation is necessary. And I feel like something like a card like this can actually help start off that conversation, no? Where like
I
partners
mean, the
are going
entire
through
idea
together. Yeah.
the entire idea behind them was that you go, like, obviously this information is available on Google, but the thing is you don't know what to Google because you're just like, oh, I want to experience something with sex toys, but then you're at a standstill because you're just like, but what do I do? Like, I know about a dildo at most, I know
Right.
about maybe vibrators, but I don't know about everything else that's possible. Even people don't realize something as simple as ice can be used as a sex toy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my idea behind them was that, it's a starting point. Go through them, understand them, and then go ahead and do further research to figure out which one is the best suitable for yourself.
Yeah. 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 And also, of course, you've also included a bunch of other really interesting sex toys, not just the ones that you can find at home, but also like cool sex toys that you can purchase, right? Like you've included stuff like a prostate massager, which I think is so unique. I'm just going to quickly show. I feel like I'm showing everyone all the cards, but I'm just going to quickly show it to them. Why did you include a prostate massager when there is so much homophobia that exists in our society, where someone actually thinking about like prostate pleasure will be really frowned upon? Why was it important for you to include that?
I mean, the thing is, it is frowned upon by maybe most of the population, but there is that population that, the queer population that does deserve that kind of pleasure at the end of the
Yep.
day. Like, everyone deserves to have that self pleasure and that pleasure with their partners and help elevate their pleasure. I mean, and it doesn't just have to be a queer, even in straight relationships, there
Yes.
are times where men do want to
Yes.
experience things. They are curious about things, and like at times like that, a prostate massager and things like that can really help enhance their experience and make it the best experience for them. So
Correct.
that was my
Correct.
idea. Like, at the end of the day, like, I had a friend who explained something to me really well. She's like, you can have a blender at home, like, but it's not going to do this job of a blender, a mixer, and like a food processor. It might do the job just as much, but it's not going to do the whole job. At the end of the day, you need a blender, a mixer, and a food processor to do their own individual jobs.
Right.
So that's the idea of sex. So it's like, yeah, a vibrator could do the same job as a prostate massager, but it's not going to do the job at its best.
Right, right. Ooh, damn cool. I really like that. And yeah, and I mean, it's not like the idea is to not just go into the market and just buy all the sex toys possible and then experiment with them, right? It's also okay, like you said, to read about them, to sit with them on a thought level, to fantasize about them, right? And then see if that is something a person really wants, and then to purchase them.
Yes.
And yeah, like this is a great place to start. It's also such a great party game. I feel like it normalizes these conversations on sex and pleasure. Just because it's a conversation on sex or pleasure doesn't have to mean it has to become sexual. It can also be like educational. It can also be just a space for people to try out, or just get to know what else is out there, right? That they can use and that they are allowed to use. I mean, they have the permission to use all these things. So
Yes.
yeah, this is truly wonderful. How can someone purchase your cards, Shirin? And yeah, could you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah. So you can DM me on Instagram, and honestly, the best option is you DMing me and paying me through Google Pay, and I'll parcel them to you. Or another option is I have an Etsy link set up. You can just buy them off Etsy, but the problem with that is that it's only got PayPal. So if you have PayPal, then for sure go with that option. But
Yeah.
otherwise, just me, and yeah, you will get your own personalized box of the House of Cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. I have to give a quick shout out to Akshara and Ashlesha, who are your besties and who are doing such a great job of supporting you in the comment section. You're so lucky to have friends like this. Love it. Love this kind of support and camaraderie for
Yeah,
your
I just messaged everyone. I'm just like, I'm going live. Please come.
love it, love it. Okay, great. Okay, now Rashi has also done this for me. Rashi is my bestie, so Rashi is doing it.
Oh,
Great, great. This is what we need. This is the energy we need on a
yeah.
Sunday morning. Awesome, Shirin. So I also love it that you're an aspiring sex educator and like your medium is maybe through visuals and like cards and that sort of thing. And I love that. I'm very excited to meet a young sex educator who's trying to do like such important work in this space, and a young queer sex educator, queer sex educator at that. So it's damn exciting for me. Do you have any like final message for our youths who are
So,
curious to learn?
point that I wanted to add before we go to the
Yes,
final message.
yes.
So,
Before the
yes, before the youth message. So, one of the main things I wanted to get through these cards was maybe helping out sex therapists with. Yeah, so that was like one of the main things because I realized that, they could really use these cards to, show their clients like on a physical note, like, oh, you should try this out or you should try that out to help your sex life and stuff like that. So that is another point that I wanted to add. Like these cards, I think would be of really helpful for sex educators and sex therapists in general. Like I think they'll be a great addition to their
Yeah, absolutely, which is exactly why I bought it as well, because I'm totally going to use this as a tool when I'm teaching people about sex toys and pleasure and that sort of thing. And no, I completely agree with you. And they're also like such a great like coffee table, like quirky kind of, addition. You can just have it there. People who come over to your place can look at it and like look at
yes.
these interesting sex toys that are available. And
They're like a game of Jenga with them. I really like that you can play like a game
yeah,
of Jenga with
yeah,
them.
I think so. I think that could be so much fun. And yeah, really, like that is I mean, that can be such a great step toward like a sex positive society because this really normalizes those conversations, right? And also
Absolutely.
since sex toys are not so much about a person and it's about another object, I feel like conversations then become a bit easier as well. A person does not have to be curious about a sex toy to want to try it on themselves or to reveal that they want to try it on themselves. So
Absolutely.
this can really normalize those conversations in social situations as well. Great. Now, message for the youths quickly, Shireen. Shireen.
For the youth, just explore yourself and your bodies, man. Have fun with it. Have
Yeah.
fun with sex toys, explore yourselves, and get to know your body to the best so that you're the most comfortable around your partners.
Oh my God. Yeah. And like, yeah, so that you're also just like more connected with your bodies if that's something that you're looking for. Gauri is here, who's also my really cool designer friend. So I just wanna like I think she'll be obsessed with it. Gauri, so these are cards and they have various sex toys on them. And they also have these grooves, babe. So you can sort of stack them up like this. How cool! Yeah, very exciting. So please check these out and write to Shirin if you want to purchase it from them. You can just DM them like they said. That's the easiest. So yeah, super easy. And Rashi says, thank you so much for your work, Shirin. So
Thank you everyone who showed up in this live, and thank you to all my friends for supporting me.
Yes, I know that a lot more people usually watch it afterward. And yeah, please feel free to drop us a DM if you're curious about sex toys or if you want to learn a bit more about the cards. And yeah, we'll help you. So Harshita, who's my friend, will be DMing you. Exciting. Okay, great.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.